Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I'm here with Jonathan tonight. Unfortunately, Tim has a social life and he's having drinks with his housemates tonight. So enjoy your drinks, Tim. Make sure you don't foot clap too much. You hurt your back last time. Now, loads been going on. I've been given the complete runaround by the AI, but now I've got my first bomber. I'll be able to take those troops out that try and dodge through my lines. So nearly finished with Ecuador. We're getting there anyway. He's got 2 troops left, I think, maybe 3, and starting to crack into West Amazonias. But I've taken their cities. So actually, I've taken 1 city here in West Amazonias. I've taken Ecuador's city, and then I've taken Panama. So 3 cities, and then I've got some people landing here, just past Panama. And they're going to take this territory, a food territory, which I fairly desperately need. And just took out some troops there with these ships, 3 ships, destroyers, and I've got a sub coming to join them. I need to start building some cruisers at some point and research them. And then once I've got West Amazonias, I'm going to crack into this player. And we've got a couple of people watching actually that we know of so far that are in the game. So North Brazil is a viewer, and someone in North America, I forget which one. So can find that out for next time. The one in America looks like they might be a bit more serious. No aggressive moves in Northern America apart from Saskatchewan taking territories, but and North USA have started on the march. How have you been getting on, Jonathan?
Yeah, all right. So I've pushed south, and I've taken a lot of Bolivia. He hasn't really been active, so I haven't come across too many troops. But I've just kind of been spreading out what I've got, so my armored cars and my troops. And I've taken La Paz, Trinidad, and Cochabamba. Meanwhile, I've been building some ships up in Trujillo, so I don't know how to pronounce it, and Lima. So I'll have some subs and I'll have some cruisers. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Yeah, you've been doing well. I think sometimes human players are a bit easier when they're instead of AIs. The AI in this game really gives you the runaround. If you leave one gap, he'll go through it. So yeah, I've had the proper runaround in both of these territories. Let's have a look at what Tim's doing, and then I'll show you some of the research I can do, and also very importantly, I'm going to show you the reach that my aircraft have, because we can actually use each other's airfields, and it might be a good idea for us to make sure that our networks are properly joined up. So let's have a look at what Tim's doing. He's got a good front line. So he's going into 2 different countries at once, and he is going after North Brazil, and I think he might have taken one of North Brazil's cities. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, he's taken one of North Brazil's cities, and he's about to take Guyana's city as well. It's just a smaller AI, I think, with 1 city in the country. And if I show you what I've got, actually, I've got some artillery, and I need to point out that I'm a member of the High Command, and the reason I bought the membership is £5 for 25 days is that I thought I could host a game, and I mistakenly wanted to host a 100 player game, but you can't. It's only like admins and developers who can do that. So that's the only reason I bought the member of the High Command. But it does give me build queues, and it does give me fire control. So I thought I may as well have a look at it and use it. So for the artillery I've just built, I've put on an offensive fire control. What that means is that I can start bombarding enemy armies in range, even if the execution of other orders has to be deferred. So what I think that means is that if I'm moving the artillery and an enemy comes in range, it will stop and start firing. Whereas normally, if you're just moving the artillery and you walk into an enemy, game over. So it's incredibly useful, the fire controls, I think, and we'll see how that goes. Also, I found out that the anti-air unit. It doesn't work if you're in between like areas, and it only really works if it gets attacked. So you have to have it in a stack that gets attacked. It doesn't just automatically respond and fire to an aeroplane like going overhead. So that's something to note, Jonathan. A little bit different to Conflict of Nations. And interestingly, I took out an airfield where a plane was dependent on it, and when the plane came back to where the airfield had been, it instantly turned into a vehicle convoy, and then I was able to take it out with these cars. So we've learned quite a lot in just those few points, and so something to bear in mind as well. If we take away the competition's aeroplane infrastructure, it can cause them problems. Now, if I show you the reach of my plane, here's the plane, here's the bomber, and this is really important as well. So let's select it. And the best way, I think, of testing your aeroplane coverage, where they can go, is using the patrol, and then just seeing where they can go. So I've got an airfield, aeroplane factory in Botoga, and then in Mitu I've got an airfield, and so I can go. So this is my airfield in Mitu. I can go up here to the dotted line, but then I can skip over and start using Tim's airfield as well. That's right next to me in my right hand side on the east. I can't skip over into your territory, Jonathan, because you're south of me and you've got no airfields within range of one of my airfields. So what we could do is have a think about linking up our airfield coverage, so that, say for example, you get sneak attacked and you're asleep, I'm awake, then we can have a network of homeland air defense basically, and we can protect each other if we notice. And so that could be really cool. So Tim,
how can I tell the range of your airfields?
Well, what you can do is an old school tried and tested method. Get your pointy finger and your little finger and spread them out, and then so for example, in your own, click on your own aeroplane, and then put your forefinger on the airfield and your little finger on the outside of the circle. Now, the airfield has to be within the circle, so you kind of daisy chain them together. So you've got an airfield in Puno, right?
Oh, Christ knows what that is.
Puno is it's a province, a food province, where your plane is flying.
Oh yeah, got it.
Yeah. So you would then need to build.
I'm just going to work backwards from there.
An airfield in Ayacucho, which is just northwest of your Cusco food city.
I'm going to go for Alerta, just because it's a bit more central.
Yeah, that would work. Either way, the dot in the centre of the province has to be within the white line. So yeah, you could put that there, and then if you wanted to build two at once, this is where the finger measurement goes in. So you could.
I've done that a lot before.
Yeah, you could possibly have one in Norta or Tarapoto, but roughly speaking. And then if I put one in Boca, which is in the south of where I am, in the south of my territory, that should link us up. So, yeah, am I going to do that? Is that? Yes, Boca. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to construct an airport in Boca. Done. I've done it. Okay, hopefully I haven't used resources I need, because let's have a look at the research. We're into the next day. The next day started about 58 minutes ago, and so we're on day 2, and it's opened up the day 2 of research that we can do. So I'm going to start researching tactical bomber, and what that means is that I'll then be able to have a plane that's good against troops, and then I've already researched attack bomber, and that's good against armoured vehicles. So between troops and armoured vehicles, I'll have some really good plane coverage, and I've found it's really, really good support for the main army, and just struggling a bit with resources at the moment. But just looking to drive forward and expand to increase the amount of resources I've got. What sort of stuff are you researching?
I feel like we should kind of specialize into different things. So I'm not going to research planes for now. I will research tanks, medium tanks, I think, and maybe the second upgrade to the subs.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so having some strong naval units will be critical. Definitely, medium tanks are a really nice one to go for. God, it's going to cost me a lot. A bit short on oil
I'm
at the
running
minute.
low on metal. Just exploring the market, but like it, everything's a lot faster, and you're building a lot of stuff. You do find you just run out of resources so quickly.
Yeah, you've got to be so tactical. And I think in the world map versus the European map that I started off with a practice run, I think you get fewer resources on the world map, and I've certainly started off with with way less food than a lot of people. But I'm about to take 2 food territories, so I'll be disembarking in about 4 hours with 4.5 hours of this unit to take this. A bit of travel time across land, and then I've just taken a food territory down here. Oh god, it's only like 197 food productivity per day, so getting there, nearly on 300 an hour for food. There's another food territory down here. I think that might give me a bit more. And then really quite keen on this food city down here. It's a human player, East Amazonas, and he's got 5 cities, so they'll be difficult. Oh, and I can see some troops already. So that's just appeared because my armoured car. But yeah, definitely looking forward to the next plane. And I think I'll see if I can build an attack bomber. You can see I'm not really building much. I've just run out of resources. The interesting thing, actually, Jonathan, that I am doing is I'm building some good support units, some ordnance. So I've got an artillery gun, and I'm currently building an anti-tank. And I did have a look at our doctrines, and I looked in a bit more detail. And generally, me and Tim are in the same doctrine, right? So we're strong in terms of having a lower cost per unit for maintenance, and so we can build bigger armies that are more sustainable, and we can build them cheaper and quicker. You are in a doctrine that tends to be more powerful. So say, for example, your infantry are probably stronger than ours, and I haven't actually looked at this yet. I'm guessing. Let's check it out. So your infantry have attack of 3.5, defense of 5.3, whereas mine and Tim's infantry attack of 2.7 and defense of 4.0. So I've taken a bigger hit in terms of the offensive front line I've been taking as well, and especially if I've been going up against people in your doctrine, it's been a bit tough. So I definitely need to invest in some stronger units. You can see the challenge me and Tim face.
Or you might just be able to make up for it with volume, really. So like it's hard to tell what stage of the game it will be more powerful in. Like if you've got lots of cities, you're churning out lots of cheap troops. Like you're going to go further than countries on the Axis doctrine. Like because I'm really struggling just to turn out like one type of troop in each one of my cities. So like that may mean that I'm just going to have a slower start as well. So I think that there's a lot to be said for just like being able to just like mass out a load of cheap troops.
Yeah, they're about 15% cheaper, so I don't know if it gives a huge advantage, but I guess over time that will start to kick in eventually. I guess actually as well, you might get a good very early start because your troops are a lot stronger, the ones that you've started with. So we'll have to see how that pans out. Yeah, I'm going to see if I've got enough money to build a plane. Where's my airfield?
Oh, I've sent you a trade, by the way. It's quite easy to do, and I've clocked something else that's really interesting.
Oh yeah.
So we can trade provinces.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you go to like diplomacy, filter by the coalition, and then just have a look at me, for example.
Oh yeah, I've got a. Oh okay, yeah. Oh,
New
cool.
trade, and then we give province, and we want uh, a province. So I don't really know how to do it. It just comes up with a name. I haven't memorized it, but maybe we can try that sometime. Like if we wanted to swap around a bit of land, like if you know had the resources to build an airfield and I didn't, or you know you really needed like an extra food province, and we could arrange that sort of thing. What I'm wondering is if you could barter with enemies for some of their land. You know,
Oh
if you've just about defeated somebody, you can take a bit of their land off them as a surrender.
wow, that's crazy, isn't it? And I've just looked. We might be able to trade a province for resources. For example, one food or something or more. So if we don't, oh, interesting. So you know what that means? If we don't want to offer, well, I guess we could just offer one food for like 3,000 metal, but we could do that for like offer a province for like 3,000 metal as well. Okay, that's going to be super interesting. Yeah, we'll have to see how that's going to work to our advantage. I wonder if it works with manpower. I guess you'll be able to trade everything. I just need like a couple of hundred oil.
I
To
just tried like sending a really bad trade to a random player, just one food for one of Mongolia's provinces, and it said we can't do province trades until after day 7, which is quite interesting.
Okay, day 7. Good to know. Cool. You can see how that's open to abuse as well. If someone's on a couple of different, like someone plays a couple of different countries. I know they've got.
Yeah, I've heard that like that's the one thing they're really hot on, stopping people from doing. If you have a look at any of the community announcements they do for Conflict of Nations, then they're always updating like how they're stopping players from doing that.
Yeah, I think they've got safeguards in place, like if it's from the same IP address and stuff. I've just put a bomber in the queue, so I'll have 2 bombers, and there should be a troop around here somewhere. We'll see. Good, I'm making ground. Hopefully by the end of tonight I'll have Ecuador done and dusted, but it's going to take me a while to get through 9 hours to get through these, and then probably a few more hours. It's just mountains left at the moment. Interestingly, I think I'd be able to discuss our doctrine with Tim a bit more, but with militia, we get a 50% bonus in mountains, but that's quite specific, isn't it? And then I've noticed that just generally for everyone, infantry gets a plus 20% bonus in forest. But if you're going up against other infantry, it's not much of a bonus. Although my weaker infantry against the stronger infantry in forest means they'd get a higher multiple factor. So you'll have to watch that and see how it goes. Did I leave your trade open? I did. I'm going to decline your trade. No offence. And then bin it just because it takes up. It puts a 1 in the menu. What are you thinking about tactics, and how's it going so far?
Not really sure yet. Just going to finish taking Bolivia. See who's active on the borders around there. Kind of get a bit of a strong navy to defend my cities, get these airstrips up and running. So we've got mobility between the cities. I think that's going to be super important to have some reactivity in the game.
Yeah.
Are you taking Panama as well? Did you mention that already?
Yeah, I will. I've got Panama. I've taken it. And
Right.
and also I have built propaganda offices on the 3 cities that I've taken so far as well. I'm also taking so there's the Panama City and then there's the Panama Province. I'm taking that as well. I think that's what you meant. And that's 4.5 hours away. So I'll have that. I've already taken out the troops with my ships, and then I am going to go up the coast and go for Central America, which is this small player here. It's a computer player, and they've only got one city, and there is basically oil and food there, which I desperately need. Oh, and metal. What I think I can do is if I build a cruiser and add it to my stack of ships, it will give me the range to be able to just hit these cities from the sea, and then switch over to that city, and then I can probably just send one troop up, build an airport here in Panama as soon as I've built it, and then I'll give air support. So between ship and air support, I should just be able to support that one troop going up that country, taking the land. If not, then I can send up a bigger stack. But that's kind of the plan for now. So it will take quite a lot of resources, but the planes are very agile and movable, and they can help on whichever front they're going to be needed at. So that's a really nice tactic. I can see Tim's got quite a good navy so far. So we've got 2 cruisers, and the cruisers are pretty good because they're a bit better against like infantry and armoured vehicles. They've got an attack range which is a bit better than the destroyers that I've got. So the destroyers have got like 0.5 attack against troops and armoured vehicles, but they've got some pretty good attack against subs, I think, the destroyers. Let's have a look at the destroyer stats.
Yeah, they're really weak against troops. I was just wondering, like, if you're looking to defend your infantry, what would actually be the best ship to do that? Or?
I think it's cruiser. The destroyer's attack range is 20. Yeah, it's rubbish. And then the sub is really good against ships. Yeah, so I've basically got 3 destroyers and a sub so far. I want to add in a cruiser so I get the range to then hit troops inland. And but basically it'll be a really strong stack against other boats, because the destroyer's really strong against boats.
Ooh.
It's got the
how about battleships?
Oh, definitely
Nice.
Battleships. I can't build them until day 3. Battleships are the best ship that you just want to be pumping out, because they're really strong against troops, really strong against boats, and they've got a little bit of air defense. So day 3, I'm looking forward to battleships. Defo. And actually, in the previous practice game, I did just build battleships. I think I could build them a bit earlier, and I built like 3 battleships and then a couple of destroyers, and that was a really nice strong stack. And you can reach quite far inland with them. The other thing about doctrines, Jonathan, is that different doctrines give you different penalties on when you can research something. So, for example, I can't research mechanized infantry until day 6. I think you can probably start researching them on day 3, can you? Mechanized infantry?
Yeah, day 3. Right,
Yeah.
I was just looking at the battleships. I can research them now, so I'm just trying to actually gather together the right resources to do that. So
Great.
if we can have, like, after this episode, a little look at our resources, see if we can trade anything, that'll be good.
Okay, sure. I'm pretty short, though, on a lot of things. I've just been trying to buy stuff, but not spend all the money, because stuff does cost a lot of money as well. So, for example, to start researching battleship, you're going to need 6,400 cash. So, yeah, things are pretty tight early on, but we're good. We're taking territory, and things are going quite well. We've not hit any gold players, so that's good. We just want to free play and show the skill and the balance of the game. I think I'm going to go.
Just need a couple of days to really settle in and get a strategy going, at least.
Yeah.
Find our feet. That's the main thing.
It can take a while. I'll look forward to when I've got Ecuador sorted, and then I can just put all my focus onto one front line. We've got a huge advantage, by the way. We've this front line that we'll be creating. it's going to be really good for us. So we're not going to have to be fighting on too many different fronts. We should be able to provide a little bit of support to each other, especially once we've taken the top half where it gets widest, and then we go into this funnel down into the very south. That should be pretty cool. And then I'll have a start for us in Central America going north into North America. And it's just going to be really interesting what happens there, because it's a real tight spot to be able to just push down through. So we get one strong player, they're just going to push down, and then bang, they'll be up against me. So I'll have to have a think about a combined sort of land defense approach to the to North America, as well as sea defense.
Yeah. But in terms of sea defense, as I mentioned yesterday, just because the Panama Canal is the only way to cross from the west to the east, like just sticking a bunch of boats there and maybe having Panama City as like a central hub for boats would be a really good idea, because then we can kind of control the oceans, and also it would allow us to control the land bridge over from the North Americas to the South Americas.
Yeah, it'll be a really important strategic point, because all the players on the right hand side of North America will be wanting to get through to the other side to attack, and vice versa. Same, and then you've got all the different little islands around that will be wanting to use it. So it's absolutely going to be a target, and that's one of the reasons why I researched artillery quite early on. I'm going to send it to the artillery to the front line initially, but then equally I can have a stack of artillery on Panama, and they should be able to attack ships as well as ships being there. Let's just see the stats of the artillery. Yeah, 1.8. It's not bad, and I can have a look at the other support units, and we might even need a bit of a naval aircraft force. So we've got that sort of quick response ability to attack ships and support ship attacks. So we have airfields in strategic points on the coast, so that naval aircraft could reach out quite far into the sea. Maybe at a point in between the Caribbean, which is Cuba and Tim's territory in Venezuela, somewhere around the Panama Canal, even they're quite fancy cracking into the Galapagos Islands as well, maybe with some of my boats and one troop hopping from one island to another. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 islands. That'll take a long time, because the embarkation and disembarking time be about 9 hours at a time between islands. Take a couple of days just to take those islands. But it's an enormous game. It's quite. The further ahead you think, the more daunting it gets. But we're making a good, slow and steady start. Although we're certainly starting to land grab a bit more than some of the other players I've seen. And let's have a look at Europe, because you can often get some very fast starts there. Yugoslavia is having a crack into Greece. Central Russia are making a bit of a run for it, and so in Norway. We've got Kazakhstan. They've taken a few territories. And here we go. Yeah, there's a bit of action here. You can see where the new territories are, because they've got basically lines through them. So they're new territories for that country. So Khabarovsk, I've taken a few. I've got Mongolia taking a few. And South China. So there's plenty of action, plenty of human players around. And it's all going to be kicking off. Belgian Congo. Is that them taking a few territories? Angola.
Yeah, they're the number one player right now.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and I worked out how to view the points. If you hover over your... No, I thought it was that. Oh, you can see your points to your next level up if you hover over the bar at the top left.
Okay, yeah, we
There
can
was a
see
way
that.
to find out like how far through you are and winning. Maybe it's on the newspaper page.
Yeah, we'll find that. Or diplomacy. So on diplomacy, it shows points against my my name, and it says I've got 80 points. And if we filter by number of points, it shows Belgian Congo atop with 90 points, Central Russia 90, I've got 80, Nationalist China 80, and Manchukuo 80. Then it goes to Romania with 70. And then I can see you and Tim are on 60.
Yeah.
But I
Can't
don't
remember how many
know.
points it actually is to win though.
Yeah, I don't know how many you need to win. Maybe it's yeah, because it gave you the win points before, didn't it? Maybe it's total domination, or until you're the last human players, and it's just AI left. We'll see. Maybe it'll come up with some sort of kind of like countdown to winning, which it did in our last series, Conflict of Nations, which you can see on the channel if you check it out. But yeah, plenty to go, lots to learn, and we'll learn as we go along and share our findings. And any last thoughts, Jonathan, on progress so far?
Yeah, not really. Just stay kind of vigilant in case we actually get some incursions or opposition.
I've taken quite a lot of damage on some of my troops. I've got 3 troops down here on less than half life. I've got anti-air on very little life, 0.8 hit points. So that's the record so far. 0.8 is the most damaged troop. 2 troops here, just on 66% life. It just shows you the weakness of my troops, how much weaker they have been to the opposition. 4 troops here on less than half life. So some damage here. I have lost 1 troop. And so yeah, I've got a lot to overcome. It'll be interesting to see what doctrine these guys are in, East Amazonas, and see if I'm going to be weak against them or not. But yeah, we're doing well so far, and we'll see you in the next episode. We put the episodes out as soon as we can after we've played, so it's fairly live and direct. And I'm going to say thank you for joining us, and it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from him.
Goodbye from me too.
Over and out.